Hello, everyone, and welcome to League Review, where NA nearly took down Europe today because Team Liquid would have won everything if they did. Nah, but this was the end of the podcast, or the end of the tournament. Let's get right into our match history, and then we'll talk about that later. Did you guys like? I got very American with this last night. It's just like oh, this was in case NA won. In case NA won. Unfortunately, they did not. Uh, ooh, sorry, coughed right into that mic like a professional. All right, game. I was, to be honest, I was pretty impressed with Team Liquid. Not even gonna for as much as I've been memeing this tournament, pretty impressive how Team Liquid played today. But anyway, first game, C9 versus Fnatic. C9, talk about not being impressed. Oof, they had a very rough game against Fnatic. The kills do not show what, like, you're like 17 to 11. That's not that terrible. And this game actually did play pretty well. But you had Blabber playing here with the Nidalee jungle. You had Svenskeren playing Gragas support. You had Zazel playing Morgana ADC. C9's a mess. They have a very bad virus going on around in the organization. So that's why Sneaky hasn't been playing. That's why Golden Glue had to go to the emergency room earlier this week. But as you can tell, even though the kills were like, I believe, look at right here, 1-2, so 2-1, 3-1, 5-1. So it started out pretty bad, but then 5-3, 5-5. So just cut it. So 5, 6, 7, 6, 7, 8 is 9-8. Okay, that's I was trying to figure out where it went to 9-8. Got it. At one point, right here, at 17 minutes, C9 had 9 kills to Fnatic's 8, and if you're just looking at kills, you're like, oh wow, they're hanging in there. However, during that time, they gave up 6 towers and Rift Herald for just an Mountain Drake. But even though they were up 9-8 in kills, they were down 8k gold by 16 minutes. They were just getting out farmed like crazy on all the lanes, and just like all the objectives obviously with 6 different turrets and all the early turret bonus gold. Reckless on the Karma had 251 farm. He over Flame Horizon to Zazel. uh, Licorice was getting out farmed by Bwipo. But all in all, C9 just had a very, very disappointing Rift Rivals in general. And it's stemming off of them losing to 100 Thieves. So I'm hoping this doesn't really mess with their, like, mental. Because I know this tournament doesn't really mean much. But after coming off, like, a very bad week, did they go 0-2? They went. Oh, shoot, I'm going to check that real quick. But they had a very bad week, just losing to 100 Thieves alone. That's an automatic game you should be winning. Let's see. Okay, no, they beat CLG. Forgot about that. Yes. but coming off 100 Thieves loss, they lost to TSM before that. They lost to Golden Guardians. They were only 2-3 in their last 5 matches that they had played. So they were on the downhill trend there. Come into Rift Rivals, get absolutely embarrassed in 4 games, because this game was the first game that lasted over 25 minutes. It lasted 26 minutes. So hopefully they've learned something, because they're clearly not in the right meta at the moment. And to be, like we said, to be fair, Sneaky's not here. If Sneaky gets better this week, it'll be a completely different team. You're not having Blabber and Svenskeren on the same team, where you're either having Blabber mid or Svenskeren support. So it's okay. And you'd also have Keith at that point anyway. But so it's just it's not like red flags all over the place. It's just a few, like maybe one red flag has popped up for C9 in my head, and that there might be some troubling signs here. They just haven't looked clean. Licorice hasn't looked clean this year. Sneaky hasn't looked very good, even when he's on the been healthy. Zazel, I don't think has looked strong. Niskae's looked like the best member on the team so far this year, in my opinion. Next, we had TSM versus Origin. Again, only 8-7, but even though once you hit the 18-minute mark, Origin was already at a 4 to 5k gold lead. 5k gold lead at 20 minutes right there, as you can tell, and just full control of the game. The kills were close in these first 2 games, but all the control, if you watched them, was just completely in Origin's hands. Bjergsen actually had a pretty good LeBlanc game. I thought he went 4. He had a 4-0-1. He didn't even die. Neither did Broken Blade. Neither of the Silent Ladies died. But I don't think Broken Blade did very well. And I just not like I shouldn't. Let me rephrase that. He didn't do bad, but I didn't like. If you're Jace, you need to kind of get kills early, especially against a team as squishy as this. You have Yumi who's super squishy, Corki, like their tank is literally Aatrox, who is very healthy when he heals. But outside of that, like you need a lot of kills early with Jace, and you need to get the ball rolling, especially with a Jace Olaf comp, and just 30-minute loss on the other way where you just had no control whatsoever. I think Greg was pretty useless in this game, where it feels like TSM has a weird thing. This is my personal opinion. I think Cadian's a much better jungler than Greg, but for some reason, the rest of TSM plays better with Greg in the lineup. I don't know why. I guess it's more so the rest of TSM is more comfortable with a laid back, slow going pace, where Greg allows that, even though that's why I think Olaf is not a good pick for him. Personally, I don't think it's his just play style. I don't think he's aggressive enough for Olaf at all. I think he's very laid back in the jungle, low tempo jungler as you call it, and I think Acadian would be a much better fit with Olaf because he likes to make the big plays, and that is what Olaf is all about: making big plays early to snowball your team. Unfortunately, it did not work, and Greg was pretty useless. Next, Team Liquid actually beat a legitimate G2 comp. First game, they won. I get it. Zed ADC and Shyvana top, AP Shyvana top, and Evelyn, first time Evelyn jungle. Not great. Not not gonna impress me with that win, even no matter what. This game though, Caps playing LeBlanc, terrible game. This was not a Caps game whatsoever. Yanko's on Rek'Sai, very meta champ. Wonder on Aurelia, one of his main champs, and Perks on Xayah, his best ADC, and also Perks said he was never going to play an ADC, but he instead he totally did play it, and they lost it, which is kind of funny if you think about it. Played Zoe, Zed. I guess he did lose with Zed as well, but I was just saying, like they all these weird ADCs that he played. He played Yasuo top, and then they were just winning all this stuff. Played Xayah, who's by far his best ADC, and lost it. And Mickey also is a really good Rakan. Team Liquid, like the other games, just really good control from the get-go. There's 2 things here. 3 things. If you're playing Gragas with Yasuo, you want to be you're focusing mid lane completely. You're not going bottom lane, which is where Team Liquid usually plays to get their bottom lane ahead. But what they did, which was really smart about that, is they know that Doublelift and pretty much I've seen the formula to beat Team Liquid pretty much every game. Camp their bot lane to oblivion. If you Doublelift can't even get like nearly in the game, they're not usually going to beat you. So like if he's just dying under tower, like you're just 4-man diving him constantly. That's what teams do at international tournaments all the time against Doublelift teams, and it works. It works really well. And Team Liquid going into Worlds will need to adapt to that situation because teams are absolutely going to bring that. I think this is a good comp to do that with because you put Doublelift on the Ezreal, he's safe. He can play it safe. I like Morgana in this situation, but they picked the Lux instead, who's currently meta. But either one works because Lux does provide a really big shield for Honor W and the Aftershock and the stun. I think Morgana as well with the Black Shield. You just have super safety. Never take a risk. Never get caught out. Just farm up as slow as you can. Even if you fall behind in farm, which Doublelift was here, about like 80 farm. So even if that happens, it's okay. As long as Jensen on the Yasuo, who's a very clean Yasuo, actually, and Impact on the Gangplank, oh man, Impact, every time he plays it, I'm like, why is this not a near permaban against Team Liquid? Like, Impact's Gangplank is just disgusting. But especially paired it with the Ezreal on for Doublelift, where you have 2 lanes, your top, both side lanes, now have complete safety under the tower. Like Impact's Gangplank can absorb a black hole. Like this thing, it's insane how good it is. While double it if you in Core JJ as long as you have Ezreal and either the Lux or the Morgana with it. Like that's just can absorb a lot of pressure as well. So if you can absorb two pressure on both side lanes, it's a fantastic way for Gragas to literally go get his camps, go mid, go get the other camps on the other side of the map, go mid, go get the camps again or invade possibly, go mid or back, just go mid, go mid, go mid all game, and that's what they did, and they got Jensen super fed on the Yasuo, along with Impact getting super fed on the Gangplank, and they were able to pretty much win this game fair and square. And this one was a real one, I think, against G2. So I was quite impressed, especially with how bad they looked at MSI against G2. This one looked good, even though it was in Rift Rivals, so it's still a little grain of salt, but it was real teams, and I think it was pretty real because if G2 would have won, the tournament would have been over in a 3-0 as well. So with that, I just thought, cool, let's just keep playing Liquid. I do know now, I didn't know at the time, that you can only play him for 2 games. Unfortunately, I still really think that you play Liquid no matter what, in my eyes, to just get it to a game 5. You've seen the rest of your teams just not perform whatsoever. Though I get the argument that they would probably EU would probably play G2 in the finals, and you'd have to go against that with like TSM or C9. Definitely TSM because of how Cloud9 was performing. But yeah, they brought in TSM, and it was a 1-3 performance by Greg. Another terrible performance. Sejuani is a good champion for him, but he was showing that he can play just like Smithy and just missed all of his ults. Bjergsen's Azir getting memed with the Luden's Echo with Nemesis' tweet that you should report any Azir that builds Luden's Echo. I don't necessarily agree with that because I love Luden's Echo. No, I don't love it on Azir. I just think that I love the mana and Luden's Echo in general, and I kind of just like it as a good starter item for pretty much any mage. I don't play Azir personally, but I don't think it's that bad to that extent. But I get the argument that you should be going Nashor's Tooth and stuff first. But. And then we had Reckless and Hylissang on the Sivir Yuumi. Oh, and by the way, Vigar in the game, totally forgot to talk about that. Absolutely crushed the Azir. It's an old school Azir counter because Azir can't do all of his fancy moves when you put a baby cage in the lane. He can't do all of his dodging and stuff because he gets stopped right in the baby cage, and Vigar just instantly pops him because Azir is actually fairly squishy. Game was over pretty much around, I would say, let's see, that was only 2k gold lead. They had the Lucian early, but it wasn't. It was looking weak. I mean, it definitely ended here at 21 minutes, but I think even at this fight up with the Yuumi and Aatrox. By the way, Yuumi Aatrox is one of the strongest. We say like Sivir Yuumi is a really good combination. Yuumi Aatrox is one of the strongest combinations just for the amount of healing, speed buffs, and roots that Yuumi provides for Aatrox to chase people down in his ult in a team fight is so good. And Bwipo is a very good Aatrox, as we've known. So letting both Yuumi and Aatrox through, I'm kind of disappointed in TSM for that. But I like the Pyke ban, frankly. I like the Jarvan ban. I think the Twisted Fate ban could have been avoided for the Aatrox. I think Aatrox is a bigger threat than Twisted Fate at the moment, even AD Twisted Fate. But all in all, as much as I loved to do this with and just celebrate an NA victory, we did not. So it was GG to Europe. Europe is the superior region, as we mostly knew was going to happen. And but yeah, Europe's superior region for this year and last year, and not the year before that because we won, but the year before that. And then, but I think that will do it for our Rift Trials podcast. We're not actually. I forgot to mention we're not going to be doing a wild card podcast this week. It's just not in the cards. It's too much. I didn't catch up enough on the games because of Rift Rivals and everything else, and it's it's a lot of games, a lot of podcasts with being sick this whole week. I don't know if I can. I'm still almost healed, but I still have a little bit scratchy throat and stuff, so I don't think I could do an hour and 30-minute podcast just talking about myself. But we will be back with the Wildcard podcast next week, where we'll also be doing Rift Rivals for China and Korea. So that's gonna actually clear up a lot of my schedule because those take up a lot of time. But yeah, so we'll tune in tomorrow. Will I do it, or maybe tomorrow or Tuesday, depending. Uh, I gotta check the dates of the actual Rift Rivals games, which we can do right now, and then we will LMS and VCS schedule. Day 1 Thursday 7/4. Okay, so it's not until there. So we won't do the podcast until Wednesday. But yeah, or for Tuesday. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. There won't be an LPL podcast now tomorrow because of Rift Rivals, but we will see you Monday for the NA podcast for the new week in NA. Good night, guys.